Ex-British lawmaker Eric Joyce explains why he said President Buhari is dead. Eric Joyce explains why he claimed President Buhari is dead. Joyce said no one has seen or heard from the president since he left for UK. He urged the presidency to provide proof of life. Ex-British lawmaker Eric Joyce continues to raise dust over the health of President Muhammadu Buhari as he listed reasons why he claimed the president is dead. Recall that had earlier reported that Joyce tweeted that President Buhari is dead and went further to offer his condolences to Aisha Buhari, the wife of the president. Joyce, in a post he made on his website on Friday, May 26, explains why he made his controversial tweet about the president's alleged demise. He said, Nigeria's president, Muhammadu Buhari, was last seen by people other than his own staff in early May. According to his staff, he handed over coordinating power to his vice president and headed to London for medical treatment. Shortly beforehand, he had returned from around 2 months in London, also apparently receiving medical treatment there. His staff now say that he will soon return to Nigeria, but he may then return shortly thereafter to London for more medical treatment. Read also, Nnamdi Kanu receives Ohan's in his home. For 3 weeks, the presidency has failed to prove any evidence that Mr. Buhari is still with us. There has been no detail at all about Mr. Buhari's condition. Photographs, obviously historical ones, depicting Mr. Buhari apparently in rude health have been provided to media outlets in Nigeria. Some Nigerian outlets have provided largely nonsensical quotes from inside the London High Commission where they claim Mr. Buhari is recuperating. Nigeria is a vibrant, growing and increasingly powerful democracy. The transition of power between Mr. Buhari and his predecessor Goodluck Jonathan was exemplary. Indeed, it was of historical importance for the whole of Africa. There is only one course of action for a democracy when a president becomes ill or dies. Officials must brief the public on the medical condition of the president, and if it does not seem that he is likely to be able to continue in the role, then power must pass formally to the vice president. The present state of play is having the effect of suggesting that nothing has changed in Nigeria, and actually this is not correct. Things have changed and Nigerian democracy is all the better for it. There is a contested politics now, but that cuts both ways, and the APC must not now resort to the old ways. That party was created to consign to the past. There are only a small number of alternatives in respect of the present scenario. First, Mr. Buhari is recuperating and will resume his role. Pay attention, read the news on Nigeria's #1 news app. If this is the case, then why is not presenting himself on camera to his people? Second, Mr. Buhari has passed on. However, no death certificate appears to have been issued. Third, Mr. Buhari's officials are allowing the impression to be created that he may have passed on in order to produce him frail but alive, as they did a month or so ago. This in turn may provide more time to manage the succession when and if he does pass on, by making reports of his death then less credible. Finally, Mr. Buhari may be so incapacitated as to be unable to resume his role. Actual death in these circumstances is in respect of a president's role academic. Machines can give the appearance of a life preserved even though there is no real living and certainly no governing going on. At present, a murky combination of the last two possibilities above seem most likely. In other words, officials and those in the know are working behind the scenes to organize a succession. This may seem to make sense from an administrative point of view, but it is profoundly undemocratic. The point of Nigeria's complex system of electing a president and administration is to ensure that the Nigerian people openly choose a workable and representative government. This is the opposite from what appears to be going on at present. Of course, it is unfortunate that for the second time in succession a northern Muslim seems certain to be replaced as president by his southern Christian deputy. But that is democracy. Perhaps Nigerian democracy is not able to navigate this new crisis. It is certainly true that foreign countries are much more interested in the stability of the North and the continuation of Nigeria as a single polity than the existence of a Nigerian democracy of itself. Meanwhile, the presidency has since responded to Joyce's allegations that President Buhari is dead. In a series of tweets by Buhari's spokesperson, Garbishu, the presidency described the information as plain lies spread by vested interests to create panic.